It's November 2002. We're in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, West Africa.
Voodoo Contest Group has been busy traveling particularly to West Africa for many years in worldwide CW contest. In fact, it started in 1987, so about 15 years continuously we've operated the contest on a DXpedition. The first time we came to West Africa was in 1990 when we went to Morocco, and then we went to the Gambia, and since '94 we've been on the west coast here every year. That's for the last 8 years. So we've been to Ghana, Togo, Benin, Ivory Coast, and now Burkina Faso. We've done awfully well as a group. We've won the contest, coming in first place multi-multi 3 or 4 times. Been really quite successful. And of course, putting up a big score and being successful is only part of the story. A large part of the pleasure we derive from these trips is visiting these fascinating countries, meeting lots of fascinating people. West Africa, as they say, gets under your skin.
They call it balance. The unique combination of good fun, exotic locations, great experiences, interesting people, and significant contest results.
Hi, I'm Mike, KC7V. I'm one of the original members of the Voodoo Contest Group, along with Vince, K5ET, Tony, and 7BG, and a little later Roger, G3SXW, and Ravi, GM3YTS. We've been coming to West Africa really since 1994, and I'm kind of the antenna guy, the guy in charge of me getting antennas up in the air, making sure everything works, and all that kind of stuff. With a lot of help from Fred, G4BWP, in the last 4 or 5 years at least. But the job is to get as much distance between antennas as possible to minimize interaction, get them as high off mostly metal roofs in West Africa to make them work and put out a good signal so we can work as many cues as possible during the contest weekend. We've kept most of the stuff stored this last year in Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso, but for about 3 or 4 years prior to that in Ghana in West Africa, in Accra, and before that in Lomé in Togo for a couple of years. And we've been trucking things around anywhere from Abidjan all the way down to Benin, via bus, anywhere from 1 to 2 day trips through multiple border crossings, getting product and antennas in and trying to avoid custom costs. And really we spend as much as 3 or 4 days, 4.5 days getting everything working, putting up last minute stuff, making adjustments, trying to put receiving antennas up to make that work as well as possible so we can maximize the benefits from West Africa. Of course, we're always dealing with high, really local QRN on the low F, the LF bands here, which is always a challenge for West Africa. But we do the best we can, so if there's times you can't hear us, it's not because we're not trying, it's because maybe we're not hearing you and you're hearing us very well. So we use mostly Force 12 monobanders on 10, 15, and 20, a Cushcraft 2-element 40, some multiple verticals. We probably have about 5 or 6 verticals for 80 and 160, wire antennas. We've got a C3 tribander, a couple of old A4 tribanders, a Work 7 tribander for the work band beams. And we do a lot of things to maximize fun outside the contest as well as inside the contests.
Okay, it's 6 hours to go before CQWW 2002. I've been reading all about the sleep strategies, how to psychologically, mentally, physically prepare yourself for the biggest event of the whole year. Unfortunately, I've just spent 24 hours in bed with a bad case of diarrhea. I feel awful.
Unfortunately, not all the bands were open. Fortunately, Lee brought a good book for his 160-meter shift.
I've been coming on these trips. This is my third now. I've been to Ghana once and Burkina Faso 2 times now. I look after the equipment in the as part of the indoor team. So it's my job to make sure that all the stuff that's stored here comes out of the boxes, works, gets put together, integrated with all the bits of equipment that people bring along, and that we have 6 or 7 fully working stations, radios, linears, and computers for the whole contest. Usually 1 or 2 things go wrong during the course of the year. Some of those can fix on site, and have a pretty good go at fixing stuff like that. Even managed to sort out a couple of TS930s that had the digital boards die last year. We occasionally have a plume of smoke from an amplifier. And the stuff that we can fix, we'll fix here, and the stuff that we need to bring additional spare parts, because we always keep some here, but you never have everything that you need. So the additional spare parts that we need, try and bring out next year, and then put that into the gear before we run it up this year. So what you see should be 6 fully working 1 kilowatt stations. There's also the computer network. We run CT as the logging software here. That's all connected together in a serial network, and just the process of getting all the different computers that people bring along, getting the right drivers installed, making the network work, persuading itinerant serial ports to do their thing, and getting that network up can take some time. We also have a packet feed from the internet, so I make sure that we have an ISP to connect to. We get the account set up there, and we can connect to the internet and the network.
I'm Rob, GM3YTS. I've been with the Voodoo since 1991. We started off at C56 and have proceeded downhill ever since to now we're at XT2DX, and there's so many Englishmen and Americans here. I don't know if I can cope anymore. My main speciality with this group is drinking, finding the beer, and also being a diplomat to help us out of a few scrapes, particularly where people speak English. When they don't speak English, I of course just ignore them and just carry on anyway.
We managed to get everything ready to go with time to spare. So we used this opportunity to seek a little balance.
That's nice.
So when the bill comes, you can just take charge. Cool. Okay. Pay it off.
And we'll see you next year. 200,000. Because we look after your money, don't we?
Yeah, you do. But you don't work the one up.
Absolutely true. I am.
As we toured Ouagadougou, every intersection reminded us of the pileups to come.
Look back.
On the corner, watching all the girls go by.
And here we are in beautiful downtown Ouagadougou having a very important strategy session before the contest. And our chief of strategy is about to explain all of the wonderful things that we're doing here.
Down there, the head chef, the head cheese, Jefe, numero uno, Sexy Willie, G3XXW. He's the boss man. He's Mr. Fix-It. If he learns the code, he can operate with us for the contest, too.
And it's the Thursday afternoon, just before the contest starts tomorrow night. And we're just about ready to go with the stations and the antennas, so we thought we'd go out for a little sightseeing and shopping. And lo and behold, we finish up in a bar, having a couple of cold beers. 10 of us, 6 British and 4 Americans. And so far, we're all getting along very, very well. So that's an important part of the trip, obviously, to enjoy a holiday, as well as performing well in terms of the score in the contest.
And I'm in charge of the social activities. I can't operate CW. But once again, it's bloody hot here. I mean, I need a lot of beer.
Il est marié en France. Lui, il fait de la musique. Voilà, et les dessins. On fait les mêmes travail, quoi. Voilà.
He's learned the trade of music and design from his grandfather. And the other thing he was saying about was this town some 45 kilometers from Bobo, where there's mountains and streams and a water source. It's very good life there, very cool.
La journée aussi est très bien.
Let's see if I 600 figure 600 to 1. Something like that. So still more than $20.
Still more than $20.
Still more than $20, yeah.
One of the street vendors, in fact, that's where I got my hat. He told me I got the last hat. Now I see they found 2 more in the storeroom.
Delta Kilo 1, Mike, Alpha X-ray 5 and 9.
Yeah, Delta Kilo 1, next to Tower, America X-ray 59.
Roger, X-ray Tango 2, Whiskey Papa.
Echo Hotel 5, Florida X-ray.
DH5FX 5 and 9.
An unexpected bonus was good 6-meter propagation for the 2 days before the contest. We netted some 1,300 QSOs with 43 different countries.
Thanks, X-ray Tango 2, Whiskey Papa.
Unfortunately for the Yanks, no North American QSOs were made.
The Foxtrot again. Fox 4 Charlie, interrogation Victoire 59. 4 Charlie, Zulu Victoire, merci.
I've been on a couple of these expeditions, one down to Ghana a couple of years ago and this one. The two locations are very different. The Ghana one was down on the seashore, and this one's right in the middle of a rather hot, dusty African city. This brings sort of a need for a great deal of flexibility on how you put things together. So we find, for example, here the noise levels are really quite bad. If only we could fix the lift, that would be really very useful indeed. But in general, there's quite a high background noise level, which we didn't have when we were down on the seashore in Ghana a couple of years ago.
Here's an example of the terrible noise caused by the elevator, or if you prefer, the lift. We struggled with this off and on most of the contest weekend. You're probably wondering about the bell at each station. The idea was to ring it when you worked a new multiplier. It was great hearing those bells. The contest was over at midnight local time. We dismantled all the stations in just 45 minutes. Afterwards, it was time to debrief, relax, and talk about next year. The consensus was to move on to Niger for next year's contest, knowing full well that it would be difficult to win from there. But the lure of a new QTH, a new call sign, new challenges and experiences were the deciding factors. Antennas came down the following day. It's amazing how much quicker stuff comes down than goes up.
Look, you can see all the way to Egypt.
Oh, good one. Oh, Becky thought about that. Got a good one.
Change, you can change by putting it over, pull it out.
Soon, everything was off the roof and out of the hotel and on its way to storage. The plan is to assemble here in Ouagadougou again next year, rent a big truck, and make the 6-hour trip to Niger. We're hoping for friendly border guards and reasonable customs officials. Results were similar to the previous year, with the low bands once again being our Achilles heel. it appears we will finish third in the multi-multi category when all is said and done. On balance, it was another great experience from West Africa. For the Voodoods, this is Bob Alphin, K4UEE. Thanks for the QSO. See you next year. 73s.